Chris Kenny, President and CEO of the Kenny Family ShopRites of Delaware, and we're here filming season 2 of Aisle Trials. And I wanted to welcome the judges, and if you could introduce yourselves.
My name is Pedro Moore, entrepreneur, founder of Fund and Fuel, and a venture advisor to Terrex's Capital.
Hello, Mac McLeod, CEO of Carver Ties, a media company based here in Wilmington, Delaware. Pleasure to be here.
Hi, I'm Carla Guzzi. I'm the president of Bing's Bakery and Bing's Bake and Brew, and I'm very happy to be back for season 2.
Hello judges, my name is Derrick Allen. My wife here is Abena Allen, and together we are DNA Food Services. And I'm going to quickly tell you how we got here in front of you today. So a goal of mine as I was growing up was to be a first-time homeowner by the time I was 30 years old. And with hard work and dedication, about 3 months shy of my 30th birthday, I bought my first home. Now, like most first-time homeowners, it was a fixer-upper, which means one of the areas that needed to be fixed up was the kitchen. It needed total renovation. And me being a handy person, I did it. Took everything out, tore it down to the studs. Fast forward 5 years later, brand new tile floor, brand new walls, brand new cabinetry, and no stove. And I know you're wondering, how could you live 5 years without a stove? Well, I cook every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, outside on a charcoal grill.
Oh, wow.
No matter what season, no matter what the weather. So this obviously forced me to become a grill master. But over that 5-year period, I did. I would cook, and I would cook for my friends and family, have them over. They would taste my seasonings and my sauces, and they would agree, hey, you're getting really good at this. And this is what switched it from being a necessity to more of a hobby, more of something I was really interested in. And then I started doing more research on the internet. And I started to go to places like Reading Terminal Market and places like ShopRites to get fresh foods, fresh ingredients, farmers markets, all these places, because I wanted to really craft the flavors that I thought were good. And specifically for the sauce that you're tasting, I wanted something that wasn't sweet and syrupy and sugary the way most barbecue sauces were. And through trial and error, I did that. And so during one of these trips to Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia, on the way back home, I stopped at 30th Street Station, and that's where I met my wife and business partner. And looking back on it, that's where the seed for this business really was planted. Even one of our first dates was actually a date where we went cooking together. But when we get married, we said, well, let's cater our own wedding, which we did to over 170 guests with a mix of my Northeast barbecue and grilling background and some of her down south Nashville soulful cooking. And it worked out great. The response was not only overwhelming, it was immediate. Before we could even take our wedding attire off, there were people asking us, hey, where'd you get that sauce from? Or who made the food? Or when's the next event that you're doing? And that really keyed us that this has to be more than a hobby now. It really pushed us to say, hey, people want this and we have to deliver it to us. And that's what we decided to do. We, this year, formulated DNA Food Services. The D stands for me, Derrick. N is for our young 16-month-old son, Nasir, and A is for my wife, Abena. And the goal for that formulation is just to bring a combination of our flavors to this area that we feel is sort of lacking in some of the barbecue and southern flavors that we have to offer. So the business goal for us is to not only bring those sauces to this area, but also in the future, spices. We already have a line of spice rubs, some also kitchen utensils we're working on. And in the process, we also are gonna open a food truck hopefully within the next year, which would be a literal vehicle to get our flavors into this area. That's the goal of the business, and that's why we're here presenting in front of you right now.
Yeah, that was a really good pork belly.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And then you cooked that on the grill for us today?
I smoked it this morning.
Smoked it this morning, cooked it.
Yeah, you smoke it and then you chill it for a little while and then put a nice sear on it.
It was delicious. I mean, it really, and actually I liked it even better without the sauce. I mean, just the really nailed the flavor.
Well, the seasoning is also mine too. So yeah. Any way you like it, we definitely.
It was really delicious. So, have you thought about how you're going to achieve this business model financially? You know, have you put together pen to paper?
Our goal was basically to use the sauce to fund the food truck, and the food truck would help us get our flavors out there to sort of cast a wider net. But the sauce seemed the easiest way to get into the business because we could essentially know more or less what our costs are going to be. It's more of a steady thing than, you know, food truck is essentially like a restaurant where the business can go up or down. We figured the sauce would be a more steady, even cash flow. So we wanted to put emphasis on that first before the food truck aspect, although now we're sort of doing them in tandem.
Now, on your website, are you selling your sauce independently, or are you selling your food and just putting your sauce into it?
We're selling the sauce independently for now, yeah.
Okay.
The food was fantastic. The sauce, in my opinion, really helped bring out the flavors, and just kind of bring it all together. I thought it was just very flavorful, very savory. I noticed the consistency was a little looser, a little more liquidy, if that's a word. And I was just wondering if you had any inspiration behind that. I'm sure that was by design, but just tell us the why behind that.
Yeah, just because most of the sauces I found, the barbecue sauces I found on the market were just, I assume to get that shelf life extended, it felt like they were just adding tons and tons of sugar, which as you add sugar, make their consistency thicker. So every sauce I seemed to pick up was a thick, sugary, either maple syrupy type of thing, and I just, my palate just didn't agree with that. So I wanted to make something that was a little looser, still had basic barbecue flavors, just some ketchup in it, you know, and some vinegars, but something that didn't feel as sort of as heavy.
No, I think it's very nice.
Is there like a why even behind that? Like, is there a difference or benefit by having it more watery than the traditional thicker when you do pour it out?
I don't know that there is other than personal preference.
Okay.
And well, through my cooking experiences, I found for things like pulled pork and things like that, the consistency worked much more better than the thicker sauces. It actually lets you sort of taste more of the meats that you're cooking as opposed to just tasting all the.
So it's better for certain. So it's potentially a barbecue sauce that's better for cooked meats like this versus like a I don't know. Obviously, like I'm gonna just use chicken nuggets. I know that's probably a horrible example.
I wish that your story about the stove and not having a stove for 5 years because of blood, sweat, and tears put into buying your first home. You had to learn how to be a grill master, and this was the best sauce to bring out all the hard work that you learned how to do on that grill. That story needs to be embellished right here on the back. And the imagery, separate thing altogether. The imagery, you know, I think, I get it. First initials of the names. The issue with that is it doesn't say anything about the spirit and soul of your product. It doesn't carry any characteristics of like what I'm about to get after I buy this. So I would say, my personal opinion is, I think it's a fantastic product. I personally like it. I would buy it if I was in the store. But if I was just walking down an aisle and saw this for the first time, it wouldn't capture my eye because it just looks bland. It looks like DNA, and DNA is not something that I would ever associate with being savory or mouth-watering. So I would say you might want to take a look at the imagery and the titling of the business, and just take a look at that. Even food services, when I think of food services, I think of catering. I don't think of like the product. I don't think of what I'm about to buy.
Yeah.
So I would just say take a look at your brand positioning of how you're setting the face to the product. There might be a little bit of improvement there, but the flavor profile is fantastic. And I think it has a lot of potential. I love your guys' story. I think you're going to do very well.
Thank you.
Well,
Appreciate
thank you for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
Food
all.
was great, and I wish you all the success.
The biggest takeaway today was that it's not a quick process to start a business. There's a lot of trial and error, and you have to take a lot of advice from a lot of different people. And this is one of those steps, and I'm grateful that I get to hear some good advice from some very smart people.